One thing that I really like to do is if I have leftover fabric, leftover cloth from a project. So I made that jacket. I made a really awesome jacket that I absolutely love. This is the softest alpaca plus superwash that is, oh my gosh, it's so soft. So I have some left over and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna make a really simple cowl, kind of like a scarf, but stays into a round. It's really easy to do. And all you need is between 30 and 32 inches of material. So this can be like one piece you have left over, or could be sections you sew together. Anything will work. So all I'm gonna do is sew it together, cut out, or I'm gonna cut 30, I'm gonna try 30 inches this time because my last cowl I did 32 and it's slightly too big on me. And sew it together. So just thought I'd tell you and show you how I'm gonna do that. Like I said, you're gonna wanna measure and make sure that you have at least 30 to 32 inches depending on the person that you're making for. This time I'm making 30 inches, so I'm going to measure and clip where I need to sew it. Once I've sewn it, then I can make sure that my ends match up. There is two different ways that you can sew this together, so I want to make sure that you understand. You can either put a twist in it to kind of give you that little bit more of a bunched look, or you can do it where it's just laid flat. I actually prefer laid flat for this one because it will look bunched anyways. So once you do that, you're going to sew, but before you do that, make sure you trim any little threads that need to come off, and be sure that you don't accidentally cut where you need to stitch. Okay, so then once you do that, you're gonna sew it together. Boom, really easy to do. Make sure you get all the way to the end also, because you don't wanna leave it where it's undone. Okay, once you do that, then you're going to flip it inside out. And this is the really cool thing. You're gonna do this stitch called the French seam. French seam makes it so that you cannot see your inside pieces. Before you sew that next part, you want to steam or iron down and make it nice and flat so that you get a good sew seam for your next one. Because this is wool and alpaca, steaming works best when you're ironing. Also, this is a really good tip. You want to change out your thread. So the thread that you first sewed with might be one that you can actually see to cut with. This one, I want to make sure it's more hidden, and so I'm going to use a different color. I'm going to use black in this instance because you won't see it as much. And when you go back and you sew that French seam, you're going to cover that inside seam, that inside stitch, and so it looks nice and covered and really comes together. And I will show this in more detail, but you just want to make sure that you've got a really nice seam to put around your neck so that it's not shown. And in this case, boom, it's already done. Perfectly a cowl that I can wear with basically any outfit. I love how easy it is to come on and off, perfect for wearing.